These talks are brought to you by Claritax Books and are proudly sponsored by Six Forward Capital Allowances.
Hi, and welcome to this brand new series of talks on capital allowances. My name's Ray Chidell, and I've worked in this field of capital allowances really throughout my professional tax career. I trained with the Revenue many years ago, then I worked in the profession, subsequently very much as an author, and in recent years I've worked also as a publisher of tax books. The aim of this series of talks is to cover pretty much the full range of capital allowances issues, but with a particular focus on plant and machinery allowances. So we'll cover fixtures in property, including integral features. We'll look at capital allowances for cars. We'll look at what constitutes qualifying expenditure, the whole meaning of plant and machinery, annual investment allowances, and much more than that. So by the end of the series, my hope is that we'll have covered pretty much everything that an accountant in practice needs to know about plant and machinery allowances, and I also hope to pick up on some of the other allowances to a lesser extent as well. But where to begin? Well, as the name suggests, capital allowances are given for capital expenditure. So what constitutes capital expenditure? Now, there's no positive statutory definition of capital expenditure in the Capital Allowances Act. The Act does tell us that certain amounts are excluded if they're deductible in calculating tax profits. But that only takes us so far. So we need to rely on accounting principles, but also very much on case law. Now, there have been dozens of cases that have touched on this distinction between capital and revenue expenditure, but one or two inevitably emerge as the key cases to which others often refer back. Lord Cave, in the Helsby cables case, said that when an expenditure is made not only once and for all, but with a view to bringing into existence an asset or an advantage for the enduring benefit of a trade, I think that there is very good reason, in the absence of special circumstances leading to an opposite conclusion, for treating such an expenditure as properly attributable not to revenue but to capital. So really we can see that Lord Cave brings out two tests. The first one is that expenditure is incurred once and for all, so one-off expenditure. Now that's actually of lesser importance in practice in defining what is capital in nature. But the really key part is where he says that capital expenditure brings into existence an asset or an advantage for the enduring benefit of the trade. And that has been repeated in subsequent case law and is the cornerstone of the definition that we're looking for. But not all capital expenditure qualifies for capital allowances. So to be capital is a condition, but it's not sufficient in itself. In fact, the Capital Allowances Act contains a whole series of different regimes for different types of capital expenditure. Part 2 of the Act deals with plant and machinery allowances, and that's what we will be most concerned with. We also need to pick up on Part 1, the introductory sections, and on 2 parts at the end of the Act that deal with more general matters. So we'll leave it there for this introductory talk, and next week I'll be starting to talk about plant and machinery allowances, looking at what constitutes qualifying activities and qualifying expenditure. Please feel free to contact me by email or by phone. We'll really welcome any feedback, and we should be able to adapt ideas that you do share with us as we film further talks going forward. In addition, you may be interested in these 2 books available from Claritax Books. I will be making reference to both of these titles at various stages over the course of the talks. If you'd like to receive a weekly notification as each new talk is uploaded, simply email cas@claritax.co.uk and we'll let you know. We'll never share your information with anyone else, and you can unsubscribe at any time. So at this point, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Six Forward Capital Allowances, for enabling us to make these videos available free of charge. Six Forward are independent property tax consultants working with accountants to enhance capital allowances for their clients. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you again soon.